Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 3, Episode 6, Finsta Fight. Okay, well, this should be a good one. All right, real quick before I begin, this is the first recap I'm filming after my sisters left. So I did see that you had some questions from my sisters. I asked them before they left, and I will read those answers at the end of this episode if you're interested. Okay. Well, Bravo is getting more and more creative because this episode opens with like an old-timey news report. So Heather, even though she has a lot going on in her life, she's opening another beauty lab, she's writing a book, she's, filming a reality show. Even though she has all that going on, she feels like she needs an outlet for her soul. So she is forming a choir. Yeah. A choir. In this scene, she and Dre, her business partner, are meeting up with someone who's showing them a venue where they can hold auditions and maybe where the choir practices too. I'm not sure. But they meet up with her choir director, Corey, and they're chatting. And Heather just says that she misses singing with her family and, the presence of God in her life. So she would like to create something that is a way for her to be more spiritual, but with like-minded people. So I'm assuming this would be just kind of, more inclusive. Maybe. Side note, I apologize for my nails, and I'm going to have the same nail polish on for episode 7, so let me apologize in advance for that. You guys who know me know that I love nail polish. I love switching up my nails all the time. And one color that I've been avoiding a lot is green, and I love greens, but because I am in front of a green screen, when I'm filming and I have green nail polish on, they disappear into the background, and it looks freaky and weird. So this color is not green. It's a teal. It's more blue-green. And I don't know. I'm just going to say this is what the color is. It's pretty. You might not see it that way. Does it look like my nails are just disappearing in the background? I know that's freaky, and I gesture with my hands all the time, so apologies for that. If you're creeped out by it, I'm sorry. The other weird thing is when I take a sip of water from this thermos cup, this in real life is a bright blue. And I've noticed that it looks purple on camera. So that I don't apologize for because that's pretty too. The next scene is with Jen and Sharif, and they're having a date night. And Sharif is surprising her by taking her to one of those indoor trampoline places, which honestly looks kind of fun. But Jen is, she's not totally receptive to the idea, let's just say. But they jump around for a little while. It looks like fun. And then they jump into this giant foam pit. And this is where they're deciding to have a very serious conversation. She thanks Sharif for, being there for her and being supportive all the time. And then she tells him about this Finsta account. For those of you who don't know what Finsta is, it just stands for fake Instagram. So this is when somebody will create a fake account, usually to troll somebody else. But you see it a lot with the Housewives where people will have these funny names for their accounts, like Teresa Giudice's wedding hair might be the name of one or something like that. Anyway, so that happens often. But what she's telling Sharif is there is this account, I guess she noticed it about 7 months ago, called Shah Exposed. Then we see one of the posts, and Jen says to him, so that was 7 months ago. I noticed it, but I was I'm just going to ignore it, put it out of my mind. And then Lisa told me that Chris Harrington, Angie H's husband, was the one that set up that fake account. Coach, why would he do that? Exactly. Now we're at Lisa's house. Lisa and John are talking. Jack walks in the room. Lisa tells him that she got a call from his guidance counselor, just checking in, seeing what schools Jack is interested in. So Lisa goes, have you thought about it at all? Jack, I gave it some consideration, but it's not something I can dabble in. I swear to you, I am not making fun of a kid. I hate people that come after the kids on these shows. It's sort of endearing to me almost the way he talks. A couple weeks ago, it was fudge college. And now college isn't something he feels like he can dabble in. I can't help it. It's cute. In Lisa's confessional, she said, I feel like Jack has a false sense of reality and like how easy it is to run a business. Well, yeah, because you've made it easy for him. You set up that business, Fresh Wolf, you and your husband, you funded it, you set it up, everything you need to do to start a business. And then you told him and Henry, your 10-year-old, that the business was theirs. I mean, I remember at the time you did it because you wanted them to have, I guess, kind of teach them responsibility and kind of teach them about what it's like to run a business. Well, it seems like maybe you guys did too much. It's successful. And Jack, who's turning 18, I guess, feels like he's responsible, I think. Yeah, I own a business. This was easy and money's coming in left and right. Oh, we do get a flashback right now to Fudge College. I own a business already. And Lisa's like, college is not just about like science and math. It's like it teaches you how to be an adult, how to do things, live on your own. Like, I didn't grow up with a mom that cooked. And Jack goes, I didn't grow up with a mom that cooked. And also, what is she talking about? She's not making a case for college. She's making a case for culinary school. Anyway, Jack, in all his wisdom, says that I don't want people to keep saying it's daddy's money. I want them to say it's Jack's money. So I'm going to keep pondering. Okay, next we are at Whitney's house, and she and Justin are in the living room talking. In Whitney's confessional, she said, it was on a Monday. I had a hard day. I just picked up the kids from school, and they ran in the house, and I was still in the car when Justin pulled up next to me. I rolled down the window and say, I'm so overwhelmed, I just need a little break. And he looked at me in shock and said, well, I just got fired. Yeah. So apparently Justin was given an ultimatum and he left his company. And he's been getting all these texts from everyone, like, I guess, coworkers that are like, where are you? They don't understand what happened. And he has composed a reply so that he could just send out one mass reply to everyone that's been asking him. And as he was reading it to Whitney, he really starts getting choked up. So Whitney's like, yeah, that sounds good. And then she asked him, well, how did they position it to you? And Justin said, well, he got called into his boss's office. They told him they appreciate all his hard work. But with Whitney being a public figure, they just thought it was like a conflict of interest. Whitney's pissed because she thinks it's about like shaming her for the kind of woman she is. And she said, I think the final straw was the Love is Art thing that we did. Then we see a flashback. Oh yeah, that's right. Whitney, it was the season that Whitney was complaining that she wasn't getting enough sex and they needed to spice up their marriage. And so she got this like kit where like they laid down plastic on the floor and they paint each other with chocolate. And I don't know, he's behind her. He smacks her on the ass. I can understand why his company wouldn't love that. That probably isn't quite their image. And I don't know where he works, but I'm just assuming it's sort of a buttoned up corporate kind of a thing. And also, you're in Salt Lake City. It's a pretty conservative place. But anyway, I guess he kind of quit. Well, I don't know. He just said, when given a choice like this, I will choose my family every time. That was part of the letter that he was sending to everybody. So I don't know if they gave him an ultimatum. Like, I can't imagine they said Whitney needs to quit Real Housewives, but whatever. He ended up leaving the company. Okay, next we are at Beauty Lab. I guess there's a big employee meeting going on. Heather and her business partner, Dre, are telling all the employees that I know we're super busy, but we're just going to have to deal with it. The new location has been delayed and, it's crowded and we're busy, but we need all hands on deck. We're going to have to make longer hours and stuff like that. Side note, didn't she open a second location? Wasn't there like a grand opening for it at the end of season 1? Am I thinking of just this beauty? I don't know. Maybe she just moved locations to this one. This one's in a strip mall. I'm getting confused, but it seemed to me that she was talking about opening a second location like 2 years ago. Also, I guess she's been missing deadlines for the book that she's writing. She's behind, and her editor called and said, we've missed every deadline and I'm having to make excuses for you. I guess there's some fear that they're going to be dropped by the publisher. So in her confessional, she tells us that what's so difficult is that she'll write a chapter and then she keeps thinking about like her family reading it, or like my mom's going to read this. And so then she changes it and she like backs way off of stuff that she said and kind of waters it down. And then when she reads that, she thinks, but that's not true. Like that feels like now I'm being phony. So it's a struggle. She also said in her confessional, I thought things were moving in a positive direction with my cousins, like they came to the ski day and everything. But then Lisa posted my dad's obituary as a way to prove what a good friend she is because she texted me. Then we see, I guess at the last reunion, Heather said, Lisa texted, I hope your dad's okay, 2 days after he died. Lisa said, no, I did not. So this post was her proof that she actually said that 2 days before he died. And she has a screenshot of their texts back and forth and a screenshot of her dad's, the obituary, the notice of his death. So anyway, Heather's point was that her dad was in hospice. They brought him home from the hospital. Everyone was really just waiting for him to die. And then she gets this text from Lisa, hope your dad's feeling better. Like it just, understandably that hit Heather the wrong way. Anyway, so after Lisa posts her proof that it was before he died, Heather got a text from one of her cousins saying, I don't want my life exposed. I don't want to be part of any of this weird ugliness. And Heather said, I just feel like that post ruined any chance of my family being supportive of me being public with this book. And Dre's like, well, not only that, but it ruined any chance of you and Lisa ever being friends. Heather agrees. And I guess she wanted Lisa to be part of her choir, but now she's just afraid that Lisa's going to show up to the auditions. Next, we are taking a yoga class with Whitney and Lisa. In Lisa's confessional, it's funny. She goes, Whitney and I have a history of doing yoga together, but honestly, I wish you would suggest that we go shopping or fine dining. Even driving through Taco Bell would be better. So after about 38 seconds of yoga, they just sit down and have a chat. They talk about Justin leaving his job. Lisa saw it posted. Lisa says in her confessional that Justin losing his job is all over social media. So Lisa tries to tell Whitney that, a lot of blessings can come from difficult situations, to try to look at the positives. In Whitney's confessional, she goes, the positive here is that Justin was released from a company that is shitty. Okay. So now Whitney asks Lisa, what's new in your world? And Lisa says, I've had a crazy week. I've been getting so much backlash on social media. We see all these mean tweets. And Lisa's like, and it's all because Heather lied about me in LA. And now people are like, how disgusting are you? And Whitney goes, but retweeting her father's obituary. I just want to understand why you felt like you needed to prove a lie. What is the lie? And Lisa tells her, Heather said that after her dad died, I texted, hope your dad is feeling better. I have a right to defend myself. And Whitney goes, yes, but like to the extent of going below the belt. Lisa, did I go about it the wrong way? Yes, 100%. I could have called Heather, but the intention wasn't to hurt her. It was to clear my name. And Whitney goes, you should still call her. And Lisa goes, well, I think I'll just show up at her choir auditions. Oh no. That's what Heather was afraid of. Side note, is this going to be a new thing with Housewives? Everyone has their charity events, or everyone's, has their launch for their new business that they want the other housewives to attend. But starting a choir, that is a new one. Okay, next we see Meredith and Seth, and they're heading into a restaurant, and they are meeting Chris and Angie H. Yeah. In Meredith's confessional, she said, I don't know Angie H. very well, but I've always had fun with her. Really, if not for Lisa, I probably would already be friends with her. But I'm not worrying about Lisa Barlow anymore. Side note, is this greasy, dirty hair look working for Meredith? I don't think I'm into it. Honestly, she just looks like she got caught in the rain on the way here. Okay, so the Harringtons arrive, and we quickly learn that Chris is 52 years old, Angie is 40, and they have a toddler, which is great. But the minute they have a babysitter, they're out the door. You know, most people are out the door when the babysitter gets there. Maybe she's trying to say they can't wait to have some time away from the kid. I don't know. Meredith's like, well, yeah. They talk about the ski day, how it was great meeting each other, but the only damper on the whole day for Angie H. was Lisa Barlow. Angie, she wants nothing to do with me. In Angie's confessional, she said, Meredith and I are trauma bonded. We have both been on the receiving end of Lisa Barlow's wrath. So at the table, Angie says, I'm willing to hear Lisa out, but I have never said that she's done sexual favors for a loan or jazz tickets. Wait, alone? Is this... Did she just casually slip in a new reason that Lisa performed an unspeakable act with a disgusting man? I did not hear it was for a loan. What Angie does admit is that she and Whitney had discussed rumors privately. Side note, isn't that what Whitney said all along? They were at the jazz game and she said, see that guy over there? That's who Lisa's having sex with for the jazz tickets, something like that. I consider that private. It's not like Whitney accused her of, announcing it on the Jumbotron at the jazz game. Attention, please. Does everyone see the unattractive man sitting courtside? I think Angie H. is, walking on a tightrope here with what she is admitting but I didn't say this, because now she says, I may have said, oh, that hideous man invested in Vita, but there was never, for sexual favors. I wouldn't say that. So now Chris says, the last time I saw John, it was at a jazz game, and I walked up to him and he said, get the away from me. I'm like, John, are you serious? And he goes, yeah, I don't know what happened. And Seth is like, that's so out of character for him. I'm at a loss for words. Angie H. says to Chris, her husband, do you think it could have been fueled by what happened on Instagram? Yeah. So then Angie turns to Meredith and Seth and she says, Chris got really frustrated because he felt like I was being attacked on social media. There was this account out there that was saying things that only Lisa and I had talked about. Chris, in a very immature moment as a 52-year-old man, please judge me later, but I created a fake account. Meredith and Seth they're shocked. I can tell they're like, nobody's saying anything. And even though Chris said, judge me later, they're judging now. We're all judging Chris, the 52-year-old man who opened a Finsta. So anyway, Meredith and Seth are like, oh, Chris chuckling. Hey, hey, there's no manual for defending your wife on social media. Am I right? Oh, God. So Seth goes, that's understandable. In a way that I know Seth didn't think it was understandable. And I don't even like Seth, okay? But I don't think he would ever open a fake Instagram account. Meredith. Okay, so yes, I do think it's, not great. But I have been sent certain things that tells me that Lisa has been doing the same thing. So, honestly, I think it's more in their discomfort that Meredith and Seth are like, it happened, just move on. But I don't think I don't know what they're thinking. I know what I'm thinking. You're an idiot. And you two seem like you are trying harder than Melissa and Joe Gorga to get on the show. I mean, dude, your wife isn't even a housewife yet. They just appear to be very thirsty and desperate to have a place on the show by being like kind of sleazy and scummy. Chris is like, well, thank you. It's embarrassing, but at the end of the day, I own it. Okay, Lisa Rinna. You think that makes it okay because you own it? Wow. I can't decide if I love them or hate them. I mean, to be clear, I hate them. I hate the Harringtons. But also, we lost Mary Cosby, and I'm not sure I will recover from that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the franchise needed a little kick in the ass, but I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how it progresses. Next, we are at Jen Shah's perfectly pleasant house in her perfectly ordinary neighborhood. I still get a kick out of it that she went from such opulence and out, in the mountains with no house to be seen for miles to now she's just in a little neighborhood. Anyway, Heather is coming over to pay her a visit. Apparently, the night before, Jen threw an alien-themed party for a 5-year-old because we still have a lot of aliens around the house. Anyway, Jen gets right into it with Heather by telling her that Chris Harrington, a.k.a. Chris H., a.k.a. the 52-year-old man, started an Instagram page called Shah Exposed. Heather's like, what? Okay, that's a big deal. Jen says Shah Exposed has been out for like 7 months now, but I never told anyone because I didn't want to make a big deal out of it and I didn't want to upset anyone. I just kept it to myself. I was trying to ignore it. But then she's like reading one of the posts. And to me, it was about Lisa, really negative toward Lisa. But this one line that she's reading influenced the cancellation of the caterer. I thought this was talking about Lisa, because isn't Lisa the one that everyone suspected told the caterer not to come because whatever, she was mad. Influenced the cancellation of the caterer, tried to cancel the charity participating through Jen. And Jen's like, no, I didn't. So whatever, Jen took whatever was said to be negative about her. Jen, no, I didn't. I didn't believe, because it first came to me from Lisa. So Jen goes, so I brought it up to Angie. And I said, Angie, I need to let you know that Lisa is saying this about you. She's saying you're behind this Shah Exposed account. And Angie goes, oh, that's not true. And I said, okay. And then the next day, I'm getting a phone call from somebody. It's Chris Harrington. Side note, why do I keep thinking that's the guy from The Bachelor? Every time they say Chris Harrington, I'm like, is that the guy? I need to Google it. Chris Harrison. Okay. I mean, close. So anyway, she gets a call. It's Chris Harrington. And he's like, I need to tell you something. I set up the account called Shah Exposed, and I'm really sorry. Side note, Jen keeps having all these deep conversations with the most colorful, delightful backgrounds. And I gotta tell you, I'm here for it. First she had the foam, now there's aliens. What's next? Hey, here's an idea. Why don't you talk about Whitney's childhood abuse in the ball pit at McDonald's? You two will just be like sitting in the balls. Or maybe you should be at the happiest place on earth. Take her to Disney World. Maybe you could talk about how you swindled the elderly while you're on a log ride. Just kind of makes things more palatable. So Jen says, I asked him, why me? Like, what did I do to you? Why would you name it Shah Exposed? And Heather goes, yeah, what did he say? Well, apparently Chris, a.k.a. the 52-year-old man, told her, well, it was available, so I took the name. You're an asshole. It wasn't just suggested to you. You were trying to type in something to do with Shah, and you managed to find Shah Exposed with just an X. You worked at finding something like that, so don't act like, it was available. Heather actually kind of laughs, and, Jen's trying to be a good sport. She's like, yeah, like, really? You couldn't find Lisa Barlow exposed? So Jen said, I wanted you to know because you're Angie H's friend. And it was very hurtful to me and my family, especially in light of everything else that we're going through. Yeah. The Harringtons are trouble. I don't like them. So Heather's like, yeah, I needed to be told. So how are you going to handle it? What are you going to do? And Jen said, I don't know. What are you going to do? We didn't hear an answer, but in Heather's confessional, she said, I hate being in this position. I've developed a strong friendship with Angie and Chris, and I feel devastated. Heather just says, Angie probably didn't tell me because she knows how much I love you. And I don't know what that's going to mean. Okay, well, everyone, I hope you've rested your vocal cords and drank your throat coat tea because it is time for the choir auditions. Lisa is practicing at home. Away in a manger, no crib for... I thought she sounded pretty good, but she kept restarting because she's like, nope, that's too high, nope. And John goes, yeah, like, that's off. Wow. Thanks, honey. Over at Whitney's, she and Angie H. are working on a routine. Okay, at the venue, this is like a real professional thing here going on. They've got this big table for the judges with like notes and like a water by everybody. I thought this was just like a fun, I want to sing with like-minded people. Why are we making auditions so cutthroat? I mean, maybe it's not cutthroat, but like it just seems very serious. She's got like 3 judges who are, I can't remember who they were. One of them was like American Idol runner-up, and then I can't remember what the men were, something in the music industry or whatever. Meredith shows up as a judge, not a singer, which I can't even imagine. Just like I couldn't imagine Meredith twerking, I can't imagine her singing either. But she's just there, she said, as a judge. Jen gets there. She's got a box of stuff in her arms, and she's walking past the line out in front. And she said, I was expecting American Idol lines. There's like 5 people here, and 4 are related to Heather. I don't think Jen is there to audition, but she's got some pipes on her. Yes! Oh my God. The costumes that Whitney and Angie H. are wearing... It's like an elementary school talent show. Fringy gold dress, opera-length red gloves. It's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, did I mention that Angie K and rando friend Dana are also in line? How is this an audition? Even if they let everybody in, there still wouldn't be enough for a choir. Are the real auditions happening off camera? I bet they are. Inside, Heather is telling Jen, so you have to go outside and like get the crowd pumped up, Heather. Jen, you're in charge of hype control and crowd control. Wow, I hope she can control the 7 people standing outside. Jen goes, I thought I was a judge. Heather, is Ryan Seacrest a judge or is he the star of American Idol? Jen liked that. She's like, okay, good point. Now, Meredith is sitting at the judges' table right next to Heather, and Heather goes, and does Ryan Seacrest get anywhere in life without a very poised and discreet assistant? She's looking at Meredith. Meredith, am I being demoted? I'm Jen's assistant. Okay, so 2 hype people for literally 12 people. Okay, so now Jen just happened to notice that Angie H. was one of the 12 people in line. In her confessional, Jen said, the last person I expected to see here was Angie H., especially after my conversation with Heather. Somebody missed the memo, apparently. And that is where this episode ends. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people missed the memo because hardly anyone showed up to that audition. Okay, as promised, I'm going to answer a couple of the questions that you guys asked me about my sisters or questions that you asked my sisters directly. I got my answers from them before they left. So the first one comes from Hilda D., and she asked, how many sisters do you have and their ages, please? I have 3 sisters. Only 2 of them came to stay with me, and they're the older 2. My oldest sister is Barb, and she's 73, and my sister Val is 71. And then I have another sister, Kim, who is 66. She'll be 67 this year. Yeah. So I'm the youngest girl in the family, but I'm one of 6. I also have 2 brothers, a brother who's 70 and one who's younger than me, and he's 50. He'll be, oh God, so bad at this. He'll be 57. So, yeah. It's so funny. We all feel like we're not as old as we really are. It feels weird to us. I might have said this already, but we were talking about it on a Zoom call. We don't feel like we are as old as we are. And my brother said, that's because we're all so immature. he's kind of right. Anyway. Oh, also, I asked them if it was okay to reveal their ages. I got their permission first, so I'm not outing anybody. Next, from Nancy K. And she asks, are there parallels within your sisters? I see them in mine. Have so much fun with them. Sisters are the best. Yeah. And also, just before I answer, I should say that so many of you guys said, have a good time with your sisters, enjoy your time off and everything. And I appreciate that very much. Are there parallels? Yes and no. There are ways that I think we're all alike. We all have certain traits that are similar. I think we're all creative in different ways. But then again, there's a lot of things that are very different about us. So it's probably similar in all families, right? There are certain things that everybody does just by virtue of like growing up together and stuff. But then, you branch out and you all have like your own thing. For example, I don't think any of my sisters would want to have a YouTube channel or to be like talking to people on camera like I am. I'm not even sure I knew I would want to do that either, but I don't know. I just started doing it and it's fun. But I can think of at least one of my sisters that I think would really hate it, not have any interest in this at all. So that's a huge difference. This one is from Sessa, and the question is, if your sisters could pick your housewife tagline, what would it be? Okay, well, let me just say, first of all, my sisters didn't even know what a housewife tagline was. They don't watch Housewives. So after I explained it to them, it took about 30 seconds for them to come up with this one. Just know, I didn't come up with it. They did, okay? Okay. Let me get myself in position. If you think I'm pretty, you should see my sisters. So, anyway, if you knew us, like, we were dying over that one. But the second they came up with it, I was like, yeah, that's perfect. This wasn't a question, but Sharon MT said, have fun with your sisters, Jill. Tell them I said hi. I did, and they say hi back. This also isn't a question, but it was hilarious. Audrey said, have a wonderful time with your sisters. Carcass out. I don't think my sisters had carcasses in their drinks. I did get a drink with lime and carcass in, so. Okay, this one is from Jean J, and she asks, who is the most sensible sister? Okay, I just have to say, this one, like, one of my sisters said me. They thought I was the most sensible. I don't feel at all sensible. And then one of them, I think it was Barb, said that she thought she was the most sensible. I think, what we ended up talking about was that in general, we are all rule followers. That goes for my other sister too. And we're all pretty sensible. That's how we grew up. So I think all of us maybe to an extent. I definitely don't think I'm more sensible than others, but maybe I would say my sister Kim, but yeah. Okay, and the final one I'm going to read is from Sky, and Sky asked, I'd like to know which sister you were. Bossy, doormat, pleaser, parental suck-up. Okay, so our dynamic was a little bit different. Our father died young. He was 48 years old, and I was 8. My 2 older sisters that were visiting were 18 and 20. So I don't have much of a memory before that. I don't have a memory of my life with my dad. You guys know I've been in therapy forever. There may be some sort of me blocking things out. I don't know. And also, I have such a bad memory, and I don't know if that's part of the reason why I have a bad memory is that I'm kind of compartmentalizing things that are painful or something. Anyway, it's hard for me to say like what role I played because to me, I feel like our family, the way we're spread apart in age, was in 2 groups. And so my 2 oldest sisters that came to visit me, I feel like they grew up in a 2-parent household with a stay-at-home mom. And I think their life was very different than mine. I feel like my brother and I, and to an extent my other sister who's 6 years older than me, we grew up in a 1-parent household with a mother that worked. And it's funny because I feel like our childhoods are very different. They're my siblings, but I just feel like we grew up in two different ways, two different households. So it isn't like, oh, I got teased by my older sisters or this or that. I almost, in many ways, they were maternal to me. When my oldest sister, Barb, got married and she moved down to Springfield, had a child, I'm actually closer in age to her daughter than I am to her. I'm 10 years older than her daughter. So I would spend my summers down there with her and, she was like kind of a mom to me in a way there. And then my other sister, Val, is just extremely maternal. That's just in her instinct. She's a great mom. And she was like very caring to me when I was little. So there wasn't that normal sibling rivalry. In general, I would say I'm a pleaser. I was quiet as a kid and I wanted to kind of stay out of trouble. That's the kind of kid I was. So yeah, to answer the question in a long, convoluted way, I would say I was a pleaser. Anyway, thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for being understanding about me taking time off when my sisters came. And also, just thank you for your interest in me and my family. And I'm getting a lot more comfortable like sharing just because you guys are very kind and accepting and not hard on me. So anyway, thanks for your questions. Again, as always, if you have any questions for me, just leave them in the comments and I'll either answer them in the comments or I'll try to answer them at the end of a video. All right. As always, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. These things all matter a lot to YouTube. All that interaction helps me get seen by more people, and it is perfectly free to you. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.